Hello, this is the daily COVID update from Deccan Herald. I'm Suraksha. On the bulletin today, Karnataka records 101 new cases. ICMR finds itself in a controversy, and Ritika Khera speaks to Deccan Herald about the future of migrant workers who have now returned home.
I feel that the lockdown could have been managed and imagined a little bit better than the Indian government did. What I think happened is that they were plugged into conversations in the developed world about the lockdown, where most people have salaried jobs. And on top of that, people also have social security provisions in those countries. So in those situations, people can survive 5, 7, 10 weeks without work. In the Indian situation, when you're earning today and eating tonight, for a very large chunk of the population, this lockdown doesn't really work very well.
But first, a look at the daily figures. At the time of this recording, India has over 81,000 active cases in the country and has recorded over 4,000 deaths. Numbers from Maharashtra and Gujarat among the high caseload states are awaited. The ICMR has tested more than 31 lakh samples for the novel coronavirus so far and more than 92,000 samples in the last 24 hours. Staying with news from the ICMR, the nodal agency for medical research in the country, the council has waded into controversy by backtracking on the fixed rate of COVID-19 tests at private labs. The council has earlier defended the charge of 4,500 rupees in the Supreme Court, but has now said it is too high and has asked states to negotiate a lower price. And the muddle spills over to the use of HCQ or hydroxychloroquine. The World Health Organization has stopped the trial of the anti-malarial drug against COVID-19 amidst rising safety concerns on the medicine. However, days earlier, the ICMR as well as the Union Health Ministry had advised the use of the anti-malarial drug not only for high-risk individuals but also for the contacts of asymptomatic COVID-19 positive patients, despite studies in the Lancet and British Medical Journal showing that the medicine does not offer any additional benefit for COVID-19 patients. Rather, it increases the death rate in such patients. Despite the confusing signals, the government today said that the fatality rate among COVID-19 patients in India is among the lowest in the world at 2.87%. According to the government, this could be on account of early detection of cases and strict adherence to clinical management protocols. On the other hand, the pandemic and the ensuing lockdown has cost the Indian economy over 30 lakh crore. The losses so far are close to 43% more than the centre's stimulus package, which has 20 lakh crore. According to a research report from the SBI, the top 5 states, including Maharashtra and Karnataka, account for nearly 50% of the total loss. The loss is maximum around 50% in the red zone, where almost all the big districts of India are located. The combined loss of orange and red zones is around 90% of the total loss. The loss in green zone is the least, as 80% of the population in this zone is located in rural areas, which is almost open for all activities. The report projects that the GDP growth in 2020-2021 would be around a -6.8%. Moving on to the numbers from Karnataka, 101 cases were reported from the state today, of which 82 cases have an interstate travel history. 4 new cases reported today have a travel history to Qatar. The source of infection is being traced for 2 patients, one in Bengaluru urban and the other in Ballari. 2 patients have presented with influenza-like illness and one with SARI. The others are contacts of previously diagnosed patients. Chitradurga has reported the highest number of cases in the state today. All 20 new cases have recently returned from Tamil Nadu. All 14 new cases in Yadgir district, 13 in Hassan and 10 in Bidar have returned from Maharashtra. Of the 13 new cases in Belagavi, 12 have returned from Jharkhand and 1 from Maharashtra. Dakshina Kannada and Bagalkote have reported cases from those who have returned from Qatar. With this, the state has reported 2,283 cases in total, of which more than 1,400 are active cases. 748 patients have recovered, 18 are currently in the ICU, while 44 have died. Ever since the lockdown was announced, India has seen an exodus of workers desperate to return home. It was hoped that the easing of lockdown restrictions would stem the exodus, but it has not. In our series of conversations looking at the post-COVID world, my colleague Shemin Joy speaks to Ritika Khera, a development economist at IIT Delhi, about the future that awaits these migrant workers who have now returned home and who stare at joblessness and possibly increased incidence of hunger.
Thank you, Ritika, for joining us. The lockdown has been relaxed considerably. The economic activities also have started. But we still see a lot of migrants going back home. Why is it so?
Right. So I think many people are not aware that 1/3 of those who are employed in India are employed as casual laborers, and less than 20% have regular salaried jobs. I feel that the lockdown could have been managed and imagined a little bit better than the Indian government did. What I think happened is that they were plugged into conversations in the developed world about the lockdown, where most people have salaried jobs. And on top of that, people also have social security provisions in those countries. So in those situations, people can survive 5, 7, 10 weeks without work. In the Indian situation, when you're earning today and eating tonight, for a very large chunk of the population, this lockdown doesn't really work very well. And so today they've reached a breaking point. They feel like it's better to be in a place where at least they have shelter assured to them, and at least dignity is assured to them. Even if they have to be hungry, either, in both places they might go hungry, but at least at home they have shelter and they will be able to live in a more dignified manner.
Government has announced a 20 lakh crore package. Is the component enough for the migrant workers?
Right. So I think this 20 lakh package is actually not quite a 20 lakh package. Many people have commented on how a lot of it is actually monetary measures which are being loaded onto this so-called package, and that the actual fiscal stimulus in the package is very small. The estimates vary, but most of them are under 2% of GDP. So this is clearly, anything at this moment will be helpful, and 2% of GDP, I think, is a good start.
So another point raised by many people is that hunger may be killing more people than the coronavirus.
One of the most appreciable things in that package was the doubling of rations for PDS ration card holders. Now, the problem is that today, out of 800 million people have ration cards, access to the PDS, but 500 million people don't have access to the PDS. Today, the situation is that even people who manage on their own in normal circumstances, even they are in need of help. So you think about auto rickshaw drivers, think about some gig economy workers like Ola and Uber drivers, think about the people who sell fruits and vegetables or make tea at street corners. All of these people have lost their livelihood. About 50% in India are self-employed, and a lot of that self-employment is these kinds of small services. So the doubling is obviously welcome, but apart from what has already been done, that doubling of rations for 3 months needs to be extended for another 3 months. 10 crore people need to be added permanently to the PDS. And beyond that, the government should give ration cards, 1-year ration cards, temporary ration cards to anyone who desires it. Because on the other hand, we have food stocks with the FCI, which are 3.5 times the buffer stock norms. And for the government, it has become a big headache where to store it. And they are currently procuring wheat from the farmers. And within a month, the monsoon will come and it will all start rotting. There is a danger of rotting on the one hand, and on the other hand, people starving because of lack of food.
So what do you think the government should do in the next few months?
The government needs to do much more. Because the amount of funding that has been increased for NREGA, for instance, is still far short of what would be required to give 100 days of work to all the 14 crore job card holders in the country. If you have to give 100 days of work to 14 crore job card holders in the country at about 200 rupees a day, you would need 2.8 lakh crores just for NREGA. And with the enhanced budget, we have reached less than 1 lakh crore. So we don't even have enough to give 100 days of work to existing job card holders. And if people are coming back from the cities and are likely to join these works and are new households, then obviously more money will be required.
That's all from us today. For the latest updates, log on to DeccanHerald.com. Stay safe and we'll see you tomorrow.